We're at ISTAT in San Diego 2017, now speaking with Ross Mitchell from Bombardier. Ross, at the show, at this event, whenever anybody's been talking about the regional airplane business, scope clause comes up. 70% of the regional jet business is US based. So clearly, US scope clause, in fact, impacts everybody that tries to sell a regional jet. What is your view on this scope, and will it expand, will it ease or not?
It's a great question, Addison. The first point is, as you mentioned, the U.S. leads the market. The U.S. takes 70% of all deliveries, and what we do, what our competitors do with the aircraft, is really about what the U.S. market requires. Other markets will take up aircraft, but it's the U.S. market that ends up leading the way, and so you develop your aircraft for this market. As you say, scope clause is really what affects the products that get out into the market. So the 50-seater, the whole 50-seat sort of revolution that happened in the 90s and early 2000s was driven by the labor relations between the pilots unions and the airlines. And so now, when you look at the future of our CRJ 900 and CRJ 700, it's really driven by where that scope negotiation goes. And today, when you look at the scope, the primary driver in the scope is 76 seats and 86,000 pounds max takeoff weight. And what that really means is that the CRJ 900 is best positioned to exploit that current scope requirement. And there are other aircraft coming along that are outside of the scope clause. Being outside of the scope clause currently means they cannot operate in the largest market in the world. Not being able to access that market is surely detrimental to those programs. We're fully compliant with scope. Both the CRJ 700 and the CRJ 900 are fully compliant and can continue to operate. They drive great costs for the airlines. They're reliable. There's a terrific base of customer support, certainly in North America and around the world, for the airplane. So we believe that this scope clause restriction is certainly beneficial for the CRJ 900 overall. Importantly, we don't see it changing. Scope has changed over the years when there are major events in the industry. And right now, with the position the pilots are in, with the position the airlines are in, North American Airlines, American Airlines in particular, are making good profits. The situation is stable. They don't have a desire to make significant changes. So we don't see scope clause changing, not now, not in 2019. So that means there's a long run left with scope clauses where they are. So certainly 76 seats will be the limit for some foreseeable future. 86,000 pounds will be the limit. Given that's the case, the CRJ 900 is the right airplane for the airlines to continue to get the low-cost feed they need to make both their single-aisle fleets and their wide-body fleets work. So we certainly see that as determinative for the industry, and it puts the CRJ in a great position because, as I said, it is the lowest cost provider in the regional space today and will be going forward. In terms of our other products, the CS 100 and 300, in our view, are clearly mainline airplanes for the application in the U.S. Our North American customers will be using the airplanes mainline. Air Canada will use the airplanes to replace Embraer 190s that they currently operate mainline, and they'll use CS 300s to open new routes today that they can't fly with the existing single-aisle equipment. And Delta also will use the airplanes, certainly at the mainline, continuing to fly into cities, again, that they can't access today with their existing mainline operations, so it will allow them to expand their network. So really, in terms of what we're offering the perfect aircraft for the regional networks that comply with the scope clauses, and then we're providing the perfect aircraft for the lower end of the mainline, with mainline pilots flying those aircraft, opening up new routes across the network.
Last question. If you look at the mainline solution, let's say now we're outside scope clause, there's no limits, anything goes, you've got an open competition, a fair competition. Do the airplanes like the CS100, for example, does that airplane have the economics to be able to serve someone like a Delta or an Air Canada, but more specifically Delta in the US, with the kind of economic numbers that will allow it to go all the way down to, like you said, the 76 seats, 86,000 pounds, so sub 100 seat market. Can the C Series operate effectively in that environment?
Yeah, absolutely. The C Series, the CS100, has seat costs that are tremendous. So if you need to operate on less dense routes, it's the right choice. It also will open up routes that today the regional aircraft cannot access because they're either longer than they can fly, or there are performance restrictions that they can't meet. Remember, the CS100 will give you a couple of different options. So the range gives you the ability to open up longer range markets than regional aircraft traditionally fly today. It'll also get you in and out of airports that today nothing else really can get into. So we'll be certifying London City shortly, and our aircraft will be the largest aircraft going into London City, providing the furthest range that you can fly out of London City. And that's an application that will be able to go to other airports today that are perhaps underserved because they can't get the seat costs and they can't get the performance needed to make those airports.
Just now that we're in California, it just occurred to me, would the CS100 be able to fly in and out of John Wayne without any noise restriction issues?
Well, I don't know the specifics on John Wayne, but it's clearly the case that the CS100 and 300 are the quietest airplanes in the sky. So we would expect them to be able to access airports that today can't be accessed by mainline jet aircraft. We'd also expect that as people get more accustomed to the airplane, that they'd be able to operate on different curfews than are currently available to other airplanes. They're significantly quieter than the in-service fleet today, and that will certainly open up opportunities for airlines in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.